Hey everyone, welcome to Tactical Tuesday. Tonight we're talking a bunch of stuff because tonight was a subscriber topic, suggested topic. Welcome to Barter Town. And let me do some work here. So, first one coming in to help join me up here is going to be Tammy, Rebel Canners, and Market Chef Tech, who is the one you can all blame for tonight's topic.
Yes.
Or cheer for him.
Bust a deal, spin the wheel.
All right,
My favorite line in all movies.
Got even more people coming in here, so let me go up there and say hello to everybody personally here. And, of course, Tammy is, for those coming in on Tammy's side, hi. All right, first one in here was Phelan Klein Wolf, then Troop 1351, Walt Rogers, Shady Hill Homestead, Tammy popped in, the Mark popped in, Lewis, it's the Marshmallow Man, has been a channel member for about a year, and as you can see the banner going across talking about that right now. Let's see, Scott Hummer accepted was one of the ones that got a free 30-day membership, and if you like, it gives him the opportunity to go back and look at all the member only videos. It's in a playlist. And let's see what else we got down here. Nemesis Enforcer came in. Greeting. He says, hello, everyone, from the Tex-Mex border. Geeky Gardens is here from Florida. Utah Mike is here. Diana 2 is here. All right. Shady Hill Homesteads double dipping. They're on both sides now. Tammy adds in, and Sandy Bomar is in on your side as well.
Thank you.
Here comes Lewis.
Hey.
Oh, and Lisa Copeland came in on your side there, Tammy.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Tonight's topic, before we delve into it, I got a little presentation first about border towns or barter. Barter.
Oh, that was an ugly freeze.
Fort towns, Rob towns, whatever you want to call them. So let's.
That was the ugliest freeze I've ever seen out of you.
Yeah. Well, the ugliest one was like, and for about 5 minutes, everybody's going, "What's going on?" And it just took forever for it to come back. Of course, there were all these laughing faces in the side chat. Yeah. All right, so let's go over here. And you know what surprises me? The number of pictures when I typed in Bartertown that were not from
Mad Max, Thunderdome,
the third film. They were from the second film, Road Warrior.
Really?
Yeah. So, anyways, let's get on here.
The second one was Thunderdome, wasn't it? No.
First one
was Mad Max. Second one was Road Warrior. Third one was Thunderdome. Fourth one was a reboot.
Yeah, whatever. All
right. So, first of all, your barter towns or barter communities most likely are not going to look like this if we've descended to the point where that's what you got to do. Or they're definitely not going to look like this. People walking around in shorts and not strapped.
Yeah, you'll get raided overnight and you'll lose everything.
Yeah, you're going to see in a real barter town, you're going to see people covered up in trench coats and stuff like that to hide what they're packing underneath. I guarantee it.
None of this.
Yeah.
Hey, check it out, man. Check it out.
It's definitely not good. They're not going to be selling this. Well, I don't know. There may be some trying to sell the stuff because that's all the crap they got to sell.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
All right.
Right now, eggs are the #1 barter commodity. Oh my gosh! I just went to the grocery store and $9.10 a dozen.
Oh my God! They're not that bad on the East Coast at the store.
I couldn't believe it. I almost took a picture because I couldn't believe it. I knew nobody was going to believe me.
I've been seeing pictures upwards of $13 a dozen being posted in the stores on the reels. They go, look at this, and go over and you show it, you're doing a little short video. It's like crap.
It's going to be racks. It's going to be racks of eggs with your bodyguards on each side. Like they'll be coming. They'll be coming in with the armored cars of eggs.
Prepper 101. 2 preppers enter, 1 prepper leaves.
That's it.
And like Miami's here.
That was the meme I sent out with a bunch of eggs on a towel and said, fresh farm eggs we'll trade for 72 Chevrolet in good running condition.
Yeah.
It's like.
And Tammy Harder's here. All right. So, Bartertown. Depending where you're at, you may have an area where people are trekking out across, no longer farmable farmlands or out of the city area or whatever to get to a place that is holed up like a fortress. And some of the buildings may look like some of the ones down here on the ground and stuff. I don't think they're going to have a tower thing up there like, what's her name's, Auntie's little house in the air. It may look like this. Seriously, it may look like this, a bunch of cargo containers, or something like this, where they
or an old warehouse with fencing still around it.
Yeah, and what's in this? You look inside the little gap there in the middle. I can see cargo containers making up the other part of the wall there. So it may look something like this.
That's
the closer you get to the city, you may find it, like the Port of Oakland, the Port of Long Beach, the port. What are the ports on the East Coast? New York.
Well, you got Baltimore, New York, Virginia Beach, Florida's got
Jersey.
Yeah. So seriously, if we're into the point of a barter town, things have gone down the Kaibo with a double flush. And if you try to get in the city, it may look like this. You can tell the guy that's trying to hike in there on the left. Or by the time you're able to get to a city, it may look like this. Oh, ain't nobody around but a few stray cats and dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, nature is taking over again.
Yeah.
Oh, Carolina. Oh, yeah, the Carolinas at the port. Oh, what's the one in Carolina? Crap. They were talking about it in one of the novels, Forgotten Forbidden America number 6. There were, it was about giving you into spoilers. They were trying to ship a bunch of stuff in, and the rebel patriots go, and they went and got on board the car ship that was offloading tanks and other stuff. And anyways, yeah. Charleston, yes, it was Charleston. Yes, thank you, Diana.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say like back in the 1700s, it was Jamestown, Virginia, Charleston, South Carolina, New Orleans.
Yeah,
those
that
were the
Jamestown
big.
Worked out for him. We'll never
Not
know.
very well. Jamestown did not work out well at all, but I've been there and I can see why.
Now, I'm just making sure I didn't have any other pictures here farther along. No, I didn't. Okay. All right. So I can just go ahead and drop that down because I'm not going to bring that up anymore. All right. In doing Josh just came in on your side there, Tammy.
Hi. Long time no see.
Yeah. If you're in a situation where you're heading to a barter town, several things I'm going to throw out here that you need to think about is first time you go, don't go to get stuff or just get a couple items that you really don't need, and make sure you only take just a little bit of
Tradables.
Whatever people are trading, if they are doing gold coins or taking gold coins and clipping pieces off of it and weighing it out, doing that sort of stuff. There's, you need to do some outside reconnaissance first. Hey, what's going on here? Find out from people. Okay, what do you have to? Are they trading coins? Is somebody still accepting paper bills? Is it gold ingots? Is it silver? Is it platinum? Is silverware, real silverware a tradable, barterable item? Find out what's barterable and take just a little bit, so you can go in, you can shop around, and you can get something. So anybody watching, see you get something not worth bothering with, and then you can leave and figure out, okay, we're going to need to have 6 of us go in at one time, or 6 of us go in and around, and we all leave at the same time. So anybody thinking to grab whoever bought all the stuff, they're going to go, whoa, wait a minute, where did these other guys come from? Angels just got home. David Knight came in and 335 for 12 in Ontario.
Ew. I wouldn't want to drive to Detroit to go anywhere.
Yeah. I hope you don't really mean Detroit. Like, Detroit is like saying you're going to the west, the southeast of Michigan. Like, Detroit is like a whole bunch of places, not just a city. But if you're really in Detroit, yike.
Yeah. Mike, there's going to be a whole bunch of homeless type camps around, just people that have become homeless because of fires. Because if we're talking a situation that's made it where there's having to be barter towns, the grid's down. I would be willing betting dollars to donuts, the grid is down, which means no water, no sewer, no natural gas after the pressure all bleeds off the lines. And so people are just, vacating the downtown areas out into the suburbs, and they may be getting pushed beyond the suburbs. The possibilities are mind-boggling in trying to figure out what is most likely going to happen. And we spent years at DHS trying to figure out what would happen, and it was like, and we just said Mad Max.
So you basically were headed up by the what if committee. What if this? What if that? What if this? What if that? And it never ends.
Yeah. Well, my title was the Emergency Management Coordinator. I did plans for what if.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying it that way.
Yeah. And so, and it wasn't just me. There were all the agencies under Homeland Security had emergency management coordinators, and they had regional guys, and they had headquarter guys. They had regional guys. So we had input from everywhere around, and some of the input was, who appointed this guy?
But it's not just government that has emergency management coordinators. Every hospital has an emergency management coordinator, and everybody in certain levels of the hospital has to take the FEMA courses for healthcare, for the what if of healthcare. So, I mean, you there's a lot of different areas of public service where you have to have emergency preparedness training.
Jay's heading for bed.
Night, Jay.
Watching Weather Center live from the blizzard in East Nebraska.
Oh, it's raining here. You're getting our snow, and we're getting rain.
Thunderstorm in southwest Missouri. And now, all right. So when Max arrives at Bartertown for the first time, he's outside, and the guy's on the bicycle with a little like still type thing on there, and he has water in there, and Max pulls out the
radioactive water.
Yeah. Well, it's not. It may not. It probably is not going to be radiation you need to worry about. It's going to be okay. What's in the water?
Yep.
Chemicals, pathogens, whatever else.
if you're going to a barter town, you might want to make sure there's not a sedative in that water, because you might take a drink of water and wake up without all your trade goods outside the fence.
And, and without your clothes.
If you're going in looking for water, you're beyond desperate.
Yeah. All right.
It's more of what do you have to offer for trades, except for like silver coins, maybe money, stuff like that. It's like, what things do you currently have that somebody else, regardless, may desire to either have or not necessarily need or need?
Yeah. And that's one of the things where what I've been saying, I end most of my other videos and stuff with is, I go through, add, water, food, medicine, that. Learn a new skill every month, and especially a sellable skill, and become very good at that sellable skill. Whether it's leatherworking, whether it's clothes making, or yarn spinning, whatever, whatever it is to make stuff that people are going to go, I need that. Well, I can do that. We can work out something, a little trade here on the side.
Yeah, it might not be a barter town. It might be a passing person or a neighbor or somebody you know or sort of know from, a mile away that just happens to know you might have something and they might have something. So they might come to you, you might go to them, or you might meet somewhere in the middle.
And those kind of skills, like right now, you need to be developing those kind of people in your life.
Yep.
Yeah. So I have a friend. I met her. She's a former coworker, and we trade stuff back and forth all the time. So she likes to have her chicken coop cleaned out in the spring and in the fall. And I happen to have a teenage boy who doesn't mind doing that chore. And so sometimes I get eggs, sometimes I get apples, sometimes he gets cash, sometimes, the one son, they took him out for dinner once for doing it, So you can already be cultivating that kind of exchange with someone where, you trade plants, you trade things.
If you're
a connection.
If you're mechanically
store person.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
If you're mechanically inclined in multiple directions and you can just figure stuff out and fix it, that's a great skill.
Yeah. And David being a plumber for 40 years, and things go down, people are going to say, we got a spring up here. We need to get it down to the house, Yeah. And then you that's one thing to work on there, how to get stuff down. If knowing how to manufacture an old-fashioned hand pump.
Yep.
There's going to be a lot of different things, and also know, I know how to put in a proper septic system so you can get rid of everything away from where you don't want it to be, without having to go dig a pit and stand over and sit over the pit. And even though like if whatever the event is that caused everyone to be needing to go to a barter town or whatever, there is going to be plenty of stuff to salvage. And just because somebody can salvage something doesn't mean they know how to put it back together.
Or use it for something. They may not salvage something because they don't know of what value it may be to somebody else.
Yeah. One of the things that popped into my mind was from years ago was that I think it was on the History Channel called The Colony. They had 2 seasons of it, and they ended the second season purposely to kill off the being a third season. But the first season was good, and they were scavenging stuff from all around the area. And someone goes, "Hey, I saw one of these Caltrans aero boards that had solar panels on it to charge the batteries up for the turn left, turn right, slow down, whatever the board said." Yep. There's solar panels and batteries, and they all trucked out there. They got it, and they drug it back in, and they disassembled it and built stuff. well, so they had a little bit of power. And so even though the grid's down, if you have smart people around with different skills, it's like, hey, we can put our own little mini grid together. Yeah. And maybe at a barter town, you meet somebody that's an electrician. You meet somebody that does welding or knows how to fabricate stuff. Yeah, Tammy.
Was the Colony the show where they did the gasifier and got the truck going?
Yes, that was
the first time I ever saw a gasifier and ever saw how they were used, and I am absolutely fascinated with that. That show was like, I learned so much from that show. You can find it in reruns.
That was years. That was years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, like I said, that was at least 15 years ago.
Yeah, so I remember watching a couple of those where they were taking an alternator out of a car to try to use it for a generator with a fan, with the wind. And then there was like a rowboat that would come by every day or so with things to trade. And it was weird. I mean, it was an oddball. Yeah. They did it in like an old industrial zone or something.
Yeah,
yep.
That was season 1.
Right. That was the only one I saw. After that, I was like, all right, this is just that and Junkyard Wars where, they run out into the junkyard. Oh, look, I just found 50 pieces of 3-inch steel tubing in perfect condition. Let's make a boat out of the roof of one of those conversion vans.
That was season 2.
No, that was Junkyard Wars.
Junkyard Wars. Okay, Tammy, one of the people that you are friends with on Facebook, Bonnie Hiller. Mm-hmm. She and I connected during that movie, and we've been that TV series. We've been friends with a couple others, and we've been friends for a long time.
All right, here's a fun fact. Bonnie's the one that got me the 500 pounds of potatoes. So talk about barter. Like Bonnie, one day, I love Bonnie, and we barter together a lot. I haven't seen her; she's gone a lot now, but. She called. I was trying to get some turkeys. They had turkeys free. There was actually 6 turkeys. It was 1 female and 5 males. Yeah. And she commented on the post before me, but she couldn't go pick them up. So we bartered. I picked them up. I drove them way past my house to her house, half of them. I kept half of them. She got the hen. And then she gave me some turkey eggs. So, there's all sorts of ways you can barter. And, Bonnie is a great friend and a great person to barter.
Develop your barter skills now.
Yes.
Yeah, find your connections and things, or just your skills. Yeah. So after all the people have raided the grocery stores and stolen everything and anything they can, and there's literally nothing left, not even sharp shopping cart wheels, I'm going after the glass doors in the freezer section for a greenhouse.
If they're not broken out because someone's mad because everything's gone. However,
you might find a couple you could use.
Yeah. What in that section, the one thing I'd be going after?
The compressor. The coils.
The compressors and coils and stuff, because hey, you get enough people on bicycles all chained together. I mean, you can generate power and stuff. You can create an ice box, a walk-in ice box, and get it cold, and then it can stay cold for it till the next day. And you do it again. But yeah,
you better have a lot of food to feed that energy supply of people on bicycles.
Yeah. Well, that's the kids. That's the kids. They're walking thermonuclear powers anyway. Yeah. And Mother's Garden Club made it in. KP Heathen made it in.
Yeah, fuel's an issue. Just remember, diesels can run on oil.
Yeah.
As long as you get it hot enough, transmission fluid, the oils inside condenser units for air conditioning, it's PAG oil. It'll burn. You can burn anything. Yeah.
My neighbor kid, next door neighbor boy, he created a biodiesel car.
Yeah.
And he was
you gotta
oil.
You gotta render down or do something with the used cooking oil.
That car was loud, but it didn't cost him anything to run it. And I thought I was pretty impressed that he did that. I thought that was pretty cool.
I got stuck behind an old, it's probably a 78 Mercedes diesel once on the highway, and I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, why am I smelling chicken, fried chicken in the middle of nowhere? There's not a restaurant, the wind's not, and then I look in front of me, and the guy had a little sign in the back that said biodiesel. Yep. I'm like, oh my God, you're literally burning. It's a diesel.
They take old fryer oil and render it down.
And
what's interesting about the old fryer oil at Kentucky Fried Chicken, when they used to fry it there, it has the chicken fat in it too.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Which probably burns better than the oil itself.
When I was at Ford, all the guys doing transmission services, we just used transmission, no chemicals, just the transmission fluid went into a bunch of 55-gallon drums. One of the guys got one of those hand pump like fuel delivery things, but he put a couple filters on it, filtered it out, put it in another drum. He had a twin tank diesel. He kept the back tank full of transmission fluid and the front tank full of diesel. So he'd start it up on the diesel, get it warm, and then he'd flip it to the back tank. That engine ran 10 times smoother, got better economy. You didn't smoke or anything. He just had to remember before he shut it off to flip it back to the front tank and run the oil out of it because it wouldn't start in the morning if it was just transmission fluid that was cold.
All right. When I worked years and years, 30 some odd years ago, when I worked for Mountain Cascade, one of the truck mechanics they hired in there, Gary Teixeira, and who's thinking about moving up here to Idaho, and we've been calling, talking, and stuff still. He was telling when he was working on some of the truck engines there, he goes, "Where's the shutoff plate?" And all the equipment mechanics that worked on the backhoes and the excavators, so what are you talking about? And so he wound up getting a piece of 1/4-inch steel, welding a handle on the back of it, made it about that big around.
Oh, for runaway Detroits, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. When that fuel rail rod sticks and doesn't shut the fuel off, it goes wide open throttle, and you will melt it down in no time.
And even worse than that is when it gets an oil leak and it starts sucking the oil in.
Oh yeah,
this sounds like a friggin' jet engine. Yep.
Yeah, you drop that metal plate on the opening, and it'll starve it for air. Probably buck the metal plate.
But yeah, it's Detroit will run on motor oil really well.
Once they're hot, yeah, you could pretty much dump about anything in there out of the sewage system, and it would run.
Yeah. All right, other barter things. Barter. Let's get back to bartering. All right, Lewis went out, and Lewis is coming back in. Here we go.
Yep.
And
so you have there's things you can barter with that we'll call them vices. Some people will trade you their firstborn for a bottle of alcohol. Not that you want another kid.
That gets dangerous.
Right.
Thank you.
Because it's like trading ammunition. It's like, oh, here's some ammunition. Then they load their gun up. Now you have no ammunition. Now you have nothing, including a life.
They load your gun up. They load their gun up. Yeah, pow. And then they take whatever else you have off your dead deceased body.
Yeah,
that's a technique to trade ammo. There's a lot of security involved with that. Here it is. It's in a can. If I hear that can rattle or move before you're off distance, we're taking our ammo back for free.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Some of the things, personally, I will not trade. Ammo, alcohol, and medications. Unless it's a medication I have a boatload of and I hardly ever use, and it's someone with a kid that needs it. And then I may trade and I'll minister it to the kid for trade.
So I've been collecting over the years. Yes, I'm into the vices, and I don't drink them. When I go buy a 6-pack or something like that, I'll pick up like a bottle or two of the little mini airline bottles for like 89 cents, 99 cents. And I throw them in a bucket. I got a bunch of buckets full of all kinds of stuff. Mostly it's cheap crap. A couple bottles of like the good stuff. And I won't drink it. Wife won't drink it. It's just sitting there. And it'll never go bad. It'll never expire. And some of the other alcohols are in. I think I got a couple bottles of little bottles of Everclear which that's antiseptic right there,
Yeah.
or whatever you want to call it.
One of the things that. Go ahead, Tammy.
Personally, I'm like Sandy. I don't want to create more problems for myself.
Right.
Any alcohol I have, I'm storing just for the making of medicine that I can trade medicine. And like Gil said, I'm not handing you a bottle of medicine. I'm administering the medicine.
Yeah.
For barter. You're not
alcohol
getting
is more of a somebody's giving you crap, just won't go away. Is not really a threat, except not a physical threat like with guns and stuff like that. But it's like, what's going to take you to make you go away? It's like, here, take this little 1 ounce bottle of Jack
Daniels. That's not going to help you.
That's all I got, and that's all you're going to get. And don't ever come back, or I'll shoot you.
No, because he's just going to run his mouth where he got it, and then you got 10 more problems coming back.
One of the things that most people don't think about, people will buy a tobacco, and here's your degrees of your preppers. Bottom one, I got a bunch of cartons of cigarettes I bought on sale.
Yeah, no.
Or, and that's going to go stale.
Mm-hmm.
Some buy like the Prince Albert in a can, or they'll buy the Red Man or Beach Nut in the foil pack, and they need it foiled up, sealed up, or they toss it in the freezer. The one thing more importantly that I would stock if I ever decided to stock something along that lines is just going to be the I just forgot the name for them. The wrappers, the
tubes.
The rolling paper.
The paper, rolling paper, yeah. There's a specific name for the paper, but yeah, the rolling paper, because people will smoke anything.
Yeah. Ooh, look, crumbled up oak leaves. Yeah, they'll work. I need a cigarette. I don't care what it is.
Hey, my cousin made a few significant cash ducats in high school selling horse manure with oregano in it.
Nice.
Oh, this is the best Acapulco Gold I've ever had.
Yeah. Didn't get him stoned, but got him sick later, I'm sure.
No. He was going for months, people buying and buying and buying same ones from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Anyway,
you can always use like the little airline bottles. You could use them not on your perimeter, but further out as a booby trap. To see if anybody's around. You put it in an area where people really don't walk. What? You're pointing over.
I was pointing at her. She's on Tammy's side.
Oh.
So I was waiting.
You tie it to a little piece of fishing line and just lay it somewhere where it's semi-obvious, where it looks like somebody dropped it. So if somebody's walking by where they shouldn't be, they pick it up and it rings a bell somewhere or something to alert you that there's somebody nearby. Because they'll go for that. If they see something laying like that there, like on the side of the road. Oh, yeah. They're like, ooh, has that got anything in it? Oh, my God, it's still sealed. Cool. But now they're close to your perimeter or whatever. And you can set not a booby trap, but like an alarm system type thing where it's not like they just trip over a wire, but they're picking something up. You can use it for a lot of things.
And then they just trace that cord right back to you.
Now, you don't run it to your house.
All right. I like what Mike is saying here. He's testing, retesting his preps, trying to find his holes so he won't have to trade.
Yeah, that's the best plan.
Howie's in the house.
Then you got Howie who's going to be on an island in a cave who's not trading with anybody because if they get near the island,
he's going to sink them.
Yep.
The when you're dealing about trading too, it's got to be something I'm not going to say something you really need, but if you're trading, remember it's nothing even if you desperately need it, it's not something you really need to put yourself at risk.
Right.
Yeah.
And oh, okay. Yeah. And so one of the things is, so whatever you're going to do, you got to, before you go into barter, you got to have a plan. And if, and you better have a lot of people. So if you're out, just you and your family, barter bartering may be the last thing you want to do where you go away from the house or away from your farm or whatever, because you want to make sure there's more people left there to A, keep it safe, and B, form a rescue party if needed. And then when you do go into a barter town or whatever else, you have people going in and their job is not to barter, is not to really look for things, just to wander around and scope out the people.
Yeah, and then follow them wherever and take their stuff. Yeah.
No, just scope out the people in the barter area and say, okay, this person does not look trustworthy. This one is giving stuff away too cheap for what they're doing. You know, they don't realize the value of what they have. This one over here is spot on, honest type person. This one here will try to pick at your pocket. Will pick your pocket while he's trying to barter with you. And so there's going to be some of them go on for that, and anyone that goes in, they all come out together. I mentioned this earlier. They all come out together as security for whoever bought stuff. Because if someone thinks, oh, it's this person here or this person, these two people are the ones buying stuff. There's four of us. We can get them. And as they start to go out, all of a sudden, 4 or 5 more join them. It's like, whoa, okay.
Yeah. And don't walk straight back to wherever you're staying.
Yeah, no, you
ever. Yeah, go way around the wrong way and double back, see if people are following you and that, and pretend you're lost.
I like the loopy-loop, where you're going out and you go around some trees and stuff, and you come back in and you watch, see who's coming, if anybody's following you up there, and then you flip back around and go back. You flip around and go back the way you just came on your loopy-loop, so that you're not. If someone's farther back following, you don't show yourself. You go back and you take off other directions and stuff.
We used to do that in Boy Scouts when I was a counselor during a staff hunt.
Yeah,
kids will start chasing you, trying to grab your flag to get whatever they're going to get, and you run them down a trail somewhere where you disappear over a little lip where they can't see. You double back real quick and hide, and they go running right past you down the trail, and you double back the other direction because you know there's nobody behind them.
Nope.
And CB is here. Hugo Homestead. Woohoo! All right. What else comes to mind, guys?
I don't know. I'm not going to be bartering like out there. I'm going to be bartering with people I already have established contacts with.
Bartering in a strange place is not going to happen within the first months of whatever happens. It'll be a long time down the road, and you may not know there's even a place where people are gathering to sell, barter, whatever for a long time, and then you'll hear about it, and then you can do your thing and scope it out. That's just a massive learning experience as it happens, because nothing's going to be what we're talking about. I mean, it may be, but I mean, you just have to know your skills, know your environment, and know your neighbors.
Yeah. I mean, it's like here.
I think there's going to be I think there's going to be 2 or 3 types of people that you can barter with, other than the ones that you can trust and the ones you can't trust. You know, like my neighbor and I work for him in the summer as property maintenance, and I know I can trust him somewhat, and he can trust me somewhat, right? So the bartering there will be like from day one kind of deal thing, right? But say I'm in a little village of like say 100 people, but the next village over of 100 people might wait a while to really do something with me, like in the bartering sense, so that they can trust me and I can trust them.
Howie, I thought we were friends, and you're going to add 25%.
Yeah.
And Tammy's really right on this one here. People who are desperate and hungry can become dangerous if nobody will barter with them.
Yeah,
that would be more in the beginning of Tawaki or Crap at the Fan, you know, because they had nothing to begin with, so they got nothing. You know, for someone who has nothing to gain, they got nothing, or nothing to lose, and they got nothing, so they don't care. They'll do anything.
And the things they think are valuable are not valuable because
I'm sorry, that 120-inch flat screen. I just don't want it.
I'm not interested in their Nikes either.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or their Adidas or their pants that hang down around their ankles.
Your Air Jordans really aren't worth anything. You might just want to wear them because that's all you got, buddy.
Yeah. So there's gonna be a great disparity between what people think are valuable and what's really valuable. That's why, I consider my pantry to be my best savings account.
Yeah.
So everything that I put away in my pantry, I mean, it's only growing in value with the way inflation is going right now.
Oh.
That was only twice. That's it, just twice.
He's only been there once in and out.
He's been there once.
Twice.
Yeah. Yeah. I spent a long week in downtown Detroit back when the fairgrounds was still down there. We had an equestrian show and I went down and stayed, and literally there was gunshots going off around me. It was not fun.
Yeah. I should just had a squirrel. I thought of an idea. Had a squirrel moment when I saw Aiden there in there. I had to wave at him. I just waved the idea out of my head. Let's see. Let me look at this. I think it's personally, I hope not to have to barter in any way, shape, or form for at least 2 years. I know this is going to sound bad, folks.
By that point, bartering may be somebody who had stuff and is now down, but is in good skills, good shape, and just looking that you can sort of understand after a bit and trust me. Like, look, I need help on the farm. You can stay way over there for now, but you will be out here every morning. I'll give you breakfast, but we're working the field. I mean, but that's years down the road.
Yeah.
And that's a trust issue, and that's going to be a hard thing because people are going to do anything to get something.
Here's the hard part. If whatever the event is, it's most likely there's going to be cascade events following after it. And once the grid goes down, the winter following the grid going down, by the time that the spring arrives, the U.S. population will be less than 10% of what it was beforehand.
Yeah, and then as the spring thaw comes, so does the odor and smell.
Yeah, but so the main problem, of course, is going to be cities, a little bit less out in the country, and then in between it's going to be stuff. But those that have, if you're talking about someone coming to work on the farm or on your land, a single person, very leery of.
Mm-hmm.
A mother, a father, and 3 or 4 little kids, or 2 little kids,
maybe
more, because they're if the kids aren't afraid of the adults at all, because that's a whole other aspect here.
Yeah. But
if they're really clinging and talking and stuff, and you can tell usually by looking at it that the kids are the kids. Then, and if the mother is being very protective of the kids, stay close, not knowing how you are, that's a better prospect for help working the land. And so because they got
land
kids
can go just about anything, like cutting down trees for cooking, heating,
building a shelter,
to
whatever,
vegetables, to wells, to septic tanks, to homes, to.
And you're going to be in a good place, Lewis, because you're able to provide for yourself. You have a garden, you have a dog for security, you have wood heat already in place. So you're going to be in a great place where there's going to be a lot of people around you who are not in that good a place.
Oh yeah, like all I need is maybe like 20 minutes, and I'm at a water source. Like we got the Grand River nearby where I live in the next town over, and it's like I call it a pond, but it's a lake or something like that. But it's a reservoir for the Grand River where it gets up too high. It goes into this reservoir, and when the river goes down, the reservoir goes down, and got lots of wood around.
It's like an overflow lake. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like there's always water in it, and got trees and everything,
And you have what? How long is your growing season again? 3 weeks?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
Sorry.
Yeah. One of the things also to consider if you are going to a barter town, freaking frozen. The just like in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, everybody coming in had to turn over all their weapons. They checked them in, and they got them when they checked out and stuff. So if it's, and that'll probably come into fruition probably
10 years,
2, 3, 4 years down the road, when an area starts trying to trade and got bad actors in the area. They're going to set up a a facility area, like taking an old warehouse, whatever, and turning it into the farmers market. But there's
like that. I can see that happening, but for the first little while, I think it might be chaotic with the guns.
Oh, it'll be total chaos for at least a year or two, depending on your climate and what type of environment you live in: city, suburbia, county, or farmland. Yeah. If you're in a farmland, you have a farmhouse surrounded by 150 acres of nothing but field. Yeah, at least you got a good vantage point to see what's coming at a distance.
Yeah.
But I mean, speaking of that, there is something. I wish I'd remember the name of the farm. They've been put up reels, and they got the main farmhouse, and then the garage is in front, and off the garage are 2 other farmhouses, and then they built their own cul-de-sac, and there's 2 other farmhouses out there, and they got more open spaces for next generations and stuff.
Right.
And it is a family farm, and they call it the something or other compound. The Hershey farm compound, or the McDougal farm compound, or whatever. And yeah, and so they talk about stuff. It's like, oh, what do we have? What do we have for dinner? I don't know. Let's think about fixing that. I'm going to go see the parents, see what they have for dinner.
Yeah, the here in Canada, some farmers, what they'll do is have different properties, 100 acres, 200 acres, or whatever, and each property might have a house or 2 on it. The landlord I had lived for in the last place, his place was like 250 acres, and he had like 4 or 5 barns on it, and this was a sheep farmer. And he had a second house on it, garage for all his barns, 2 houses on that property. Across the street where I lived was 100 acres with 1 house on it. Then he had 2 other properties 15 minutes away, and one of them had a main house, a barn, and a trailer, live-in trailer, and the other property had 1 house on it. So it's quite common up here to have that kind of stuff.
Yeah, around here, the whole, most of Idaho is laid out in a grid map system, where it's this street here, a mile over is the next street. This street, mile down, is that street. So you got a mile square block of farmlands, which is 640 acres, and that's the way they're set up. And so one farmer will have 4 or 5 sections like that, and they just keep on the main one where the family's at. They just keep building there rather than breaking up on the others. And occasionally, or now that they've gone to the circle water and harvesting method and stuff, where they got the
I see them all the time. I don't know what they're
the pivot watering. they'll put houses in the corners then, either family or for a rental unit. But
that's what the guy I lived for. That's what he did. Other than the house, the biggest property he had where he lived on, and his one daughter lived in the other house. I rented the place across the street. The other two properties 15 minutes away, he rented the trailer and the two houses.
Yeah.
Just to pay the property taxes, right?
Yeah. See if I can find the good sections here.
Because whatever, like he had about 1,000 head of sheep, and that's a lot. And
that's a lot of sheep
in Canada.
Jeez.
Yeah, for here in Canada, right? That he had about 500 acres or something like that, and so that's a lot here in Canada. And they paid for pretty much everything, right? And he kept all the sheep on that main property, and then the other properties were just crops for him to sell.
Yeah,
because he was selling crops and the lambs.
You see the circles here and stuff. So I'm going to zoom in here, and look, there's the house on the circle, or two houses on the corner. There's one there, and depending on how the creeks and the hills run, they some are less and stuff. And some of them out here, there's no houses on them because that's all owned by one person, and they probably live over here somewhere. So, but yeah, if you can, and I thought this was the greatest idea, was done in a book. The farmer was looking to get help on retiring old, no kids, getting up in his late 50s, early 60s, wanting to get help out there, and was of a prepper mindset himself. Somehow put out that, hey, I got property here for preppers, do a background check and stuff. You have to spend at least, 1 weekend a month and 1 week or 2 weeks during the summer out here, helping out as part of the payment. But you get deeded a half-acre little plot here that you can only sell back to me.
Yeah, but you can grow what you want, just not marijuana. Yeah.
Yeah, and you come out here and they wound up with several families out there and stuff, and they when things went, everybody just, all right, we're out of the city, we're heading up there to the farm, and they all just went up to the farm, and they've been working out there for years, doing stuff, doing infrastructure, and they built found a creek up there, and they all pooled some money together, and they put in a hydroelectric there, so they had power no matter what. So it's one of those things is that if you're interested in doing that, there are probably groups out there or individuals out there. I've never looked at one of those because I've always just had my own resources of people to bring up here, but it's something to look into, so that if you do get into a situation where it's going to go bad, your barter town is your family already up there, and everybody usually knows everybody else out and around away from the city. Cities are going to be the toughest place for bartering because if it gets bad, you're going to have bad actors that are going to, nobody going to arrest me. And our gang is the number one. We're the power around here now, so that's going to make it kind of hard. Suburbia is going to be a little bit easier, but still it's going to have problems. And also depends which state you're in and what part of that state, because some states are absolutely huge and, totally different from one side of the state to the other. So you got to look at your own area and start finding where the farmers are, the new farmers market and stuff. Make friends now. That way, if you can start bartering now with the farmers and stuff, and whatever happens before you're really ready, you still have a place to go to, barter with. And you may be surprised at how many you may show up. They go, how many people you got in your family again? You got 7. You're by yourself, or you got 7 people, or whatever. Hey, we got room up here if you want to come up here and work up here.
Yeah, I think the thing when you're bartering, if you can, just think about the year, right? Like for your growing, um, because if you can barter for like a whole cow, a whole cow can last you the year, and then say 3 pigs and stuff like that. Going to the farmer, say, "Can I get a cow and I'll work for you," or whatever the barter might be, right? As long as you're taking back like that whole cow that's going to last you the year, right?
Yeah.
And you feed it and get it up to weight and stuff like that. And I would go for anything else too, right? Because when I started first doing gardening, right, I thought about the year. Like, it's 6 months is what I can get out of it so far, right? But I live on a quarter acre. But I think the biggest thing is to make it to do enough for the year, like for your growing year.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah. Well, whatever comes, you just start making a plan.
Yeah.
Figure out what you're going to do. And there are some books, there are some video series about how to learn to barter, how to become a negotiator. And that's a skill you really want to learn. To have, no matter what, you want to have it. Pros again. Have a negotiation skill to be able to deal with things.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right.
Because
Okay.
one of the biggest things with the last place, the landlord I had, the last place, I would get free wood. I'd go down on all his properties and cut down trees. And he said, as long as I got a winter's worth of wood, you can have a full winter's worth of wood. But if I don't have a full winter's worth of wood, I'm coming to you first.
Yeah.
And from your wood pile.
Yeah.
And I got the winter's worth of wood for him. He always had more than what he needed, and I had always had more than what I needed, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And that's really good. I know when I go out to my cabin, I'm always I'm going along the road there, and it's a dirt road, and I'm picking up pieces of wood and I stack it in my wood pile, because you never know when you might need a nice, good looking wood pile stacked there.
Yeah. All right, folks. Before I wrap up and let you know what's coming out. Okay, Tammy, have you picked a day going live again this week?
Thursday.
Tammy's going live Thursday at noon?
At noon. Yeah.
Eastern time. All right. So coming up on my side, Thursday night here, 10 p.m. Eastern is the Midnight Ride. Friday on Camp Patton Family Compound, favorite foods that are healthy. And some people are not going to like what I've been finding out, and I'm going to be sharing. Some are going to like it.
I did not open the one you sent me last, because you cannot ruin those for me. The Girl Scout cookies. Do not ruin my Girl Scout cookies. Shame on you. Shame for shame.
My wife loves the Thin Mints and some of the others. And I sent her that to her. She was the one, she and Courtney and somebody, and Jujubee were the ones I sent that to. My wife goes, I heard something about that. Thank you. I'm not buying any this year.
I've already bought mine, so I'm not opening it until after I eat them.
Yeah. All right. So Friday's favorite foods that are healthy. Saturday, back here on Gray Man Prepping. Is the first event we're going to be covering on the after the event, and it's after the power grid collapses. What are your plans? And so we'll be covering that.
Well, that might work out nice, because I think I'm going out to my cabin for the first time this season on Friday, because I work Sunday and I need a day off. So I'm taking Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I might join you from out there with my we'll have to get CR on, because I'll probably have Italian sausages cooking on the fire again.
All right. And Monday on Camp Patton Family Compound, the topic is favorite salsa. And there's a lot of salsas. I mean, when I went to the store, I saw all, and then each one there's mild, medium, hot, and a couple of them had extra hot, and it's like, but they're all different. So you got, we're going to talk about your favorite salsa. And Randy's in here. If you're talking about the problem of lemon balm.
Yes, lemon balm.
Oh, you mean like all that stuff I have growing wild around my house? Tammy?
Yes, the stuff you're going to throw in the freeze dryer and bring to Ohio.
No, I'll do that too, but I'll probably just rip a ton of them out of the ground, put them in a bag with a wet paper towel and say, here, grow your own damn lemon balm.
I had some growing. I lost it. I had 2 pots of it growing, and I've lost the one I brought in for the winter. I have definitely lost.
All right. So favorite, it's going to be salsa on Monday, next Tuesday here, like tonight. We're going to talk about first aid kit customizing. So, that's what we're going to, so that's what's coming up for the next week. And as always, stay happy no matter what life throws at you. Stay safe. Don't go out and do anything foolish. Keep adding to your preps. Water, food, medicine, clothing. Learn a new skill every month. Wow. All right? And grow something indoors because it's not quite summer. Well, Jack's growing stuff outdoors already down there in Florida.
I don't want to talk about Jack.
Very jealous. Very jealous. That's all I'm going to say. Very jealous.
Yeah. So, So learn a new skill, at least one new skill every month. There's plenty of ways to learn it, do it. And we'll see you hopefully Thursday night for the midnight ride. Take care.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.